Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. We're going to look at the Apapa Gridlock now. For several months, traffic congestion occasioned by indiscriminate parking of heavy-duty vehicles on Lagos roads, particularly Apapa Oshodi, Badagry corridors, Ikorodu Road and Dokota, as well as other neighborhoods where tank farms exist, have not yielded reasonable results. For this reason, the presidency has ordered immediate clearance of the Apapa Gridlock and the restoration of law and order to Apapa and its environs within 2 weeks. That is what they call presidential order. Well, the vice chairman of the presidential task, my word, task suddenly becomes a tongue twister. The executive vice chairman of the presidential task team on law and order in Apapa is with us this morning. It's my pleasure to welcome Mr. Kayode Okwefa.
Good morning.
Former Commissioner for Transportation in Lagos State and a friend, a former friend of ours.
Yes, former.
Thank you for joining us. Mr. Vincent Nwani, a business and investment consultant, is also with us to let us know the business implications of all that is going on in that axis.
Thank you.
And we also have the chairman, Council of Maritime Transport Unions and Associations.
General coordinator.
The general coordinator,
yes.
Not the chairman.
Yes.
Mr. Stephen Okafor.
Yes.
Good morning.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you for joining us. Mr. Okwefa.
Good morning.
Now, you are in this special committee that has been set up, this task force that the president has set up. What exactly are your terms of reference?
The terms of reference are clearly stated in the presidential order, and it's just about 6 items. If I may just attempt is to go in there and ensure
remove the trucks.
There's a major one that says restoration of law and order by putting in place an effective traffic management system that will ensure that there is a free flow of traffic on the road to such an extent that no vehicle spills onto the road that is meant for the general public. 2, to work with MPA in the deployment of the MPA already deployed call-up system for trucks to make sure it works. 3, to ensure all those who don't comply with the directives of the presidency are removed and treated in accordance with the law. We also to put in place a sustainable plan for institutions of government who are expected to do this thing ordinarily and how to get it done. I think I've made a copy available to you, and it has contained in the...
Mr. Okwefa, but this law that you're talking about has always been there. And yet we had these guys blatantly just park their trucks, and this has been going on for years.
And that
At least 4 or 5 years this has been going on. What is going to happen to those who didn't enforce the laws all those years? Nothing?
I don't understand what will happen. The law is constantly being enforced.
It's not being enforced, because if it were, Mr. Okwefa, these people would not have the guts
You are saying
to abandon their trucks on those roads all these times.
I think we should look forward. I would rather look forward. Let's look forward for what happens.
Yeah, but in looking forward, you also want to prevent a reoccurrence of this.
I agreed with you. I said, as far as I'm concerned, on this assignment, my assignment is to look forward, get the job done, and develop the capacity for people to do the right thing.
Okay. Now, Mr. Okafor, these trucks are now gradually removing themselves from the roads in question.
Yeah.
Where are they moving to? And why do you think they couldn't move there all these years?
Well, first and foremost, the trucks. We have places we can move the trucks into now. And that wasn't the
That didn't exist before.
That wasn't the practice before now.
Okay.
That wasn't the practice. But with this new idea, from the federal government has also come to address the situation, because we have so many private parks and garages. That's parks and garages owned by individuals, which were not in the past encouraged. And we have them. So now with this new arrangement, we have directed all our members to move all their trucks to their private parks. With the introduction of this new call-up system now, you can only come out from your private park to the government designated park, which is Lily Pond, when you have a job to do. And it is from that terminal, that Lily Pond terminal, that call-up system will operate. It's only when you have that call-up system that you can now, exit to where you are going to pick your cargo.
I heard you said newly introduced call-up system. It wasn't there before.
No, there wasn't much of it. Was not being practiced the way it is practiced now.
Okay.
Yes.
So, but the question I'd like to ask is, how is it that they were not able to? You mean there was no parking area whatsoever, no private parking areas?
No.
Because the idea out there, or what's out in social space, is that all those truckers have their parks, private parks, where they park their trucks. So many times they all line up on the roads because they want to get there before the next person.
Yes. Everybody want to access the ports. Everyone to do his or her businesses. So in the course of that, you see all of them rushing to the road. And before then, there were no checks, no control. But now there is control. And with this control now, and with this availability of encouragement of private parks by the MPA, I think it will ease off the traffic gridlock.
Kindly educate us before we leave him.
Okay.
Tell us, where is Lily Pond?
Okay, Lily Pond is located, I think that's along Ijora, Apapa.
If you are pushing the port from Ijora,
yes, that's where.
And to your right, just before you descend the bridge into the wharf road, you will see on your right a container stacked park.
So like it is not as if it's a long distance from the
port. No, it's not a long distance from the port.
Okay.
Mr. Wani, before now we've had this conversation about billions being lost on a daily basis. But it looked as if as soon as the presidential order was signed, things changed. Talk to us about the economic implications of that order on that item.
Thank you for the question. You know, I personally am passionate about the port. Over the years, I've done a lot of work about the port, and it's a welcome development, the presidential executive order on deals around the port road. Very, very encouraging, and we're happy. And we've always said that this problem is not beyond the solution of government. It's not, and we've been saying that over the years. And you can see, last year when the president was visiting for campaign, within 25 hours it also disappeared. So it gives us this hope that government have solution for this. And so it's a welcome development. Having said that, to my brother and our commissioner, if I was a commissioner, is a commissioner to me, thank you for the great job you are doing. You know, but I want to remind the viewing public that this is not the first time this order and the marching, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, when she was the minister, she has led this drive. And what happened? After 3 months, we went back to where we were before. So we want to see sustainability for 1 year, for 2 years, for 3 years, forever, so that our roads is secured. And how do we ensure that having some of these private ports, private call-up system may not work? Remember that 50% of these trucks that litter the road are returning empty containers to the port. Nothing. We have not even addressed that. Also try and also remember that the 60% of the tank farms are located within our port. So sustainability is about how do we relocate the tank farms from where they are. How can other ports in the Niger Delta area work? These are the sustainability plan. Not, hey, don't go there, hey, go there. These are just, can I say, 1 or 2 days, 1 month intervention. So sustainability is about decongesting the Lagos port in a sustainable manner, and it comes as a hard work. It comes as a huge investment. See, Nigeria is losing about 5% of our GDP to this mess.
Daily?
And no, in a year, and that is about 20 billion US dollars. Custom is losing money, about 650 billion naira in custom duties that they would have made. And that is why the port in Cotonou, the port in Benin Republic, and the port in Ghana is now leading. You know, even the UN have recently recognized that. That in terms of ease of doing business, Nigerian port is ranked maybe number 183 out of 185 countries by World Bank ease of doing business.
Okay.
We need to really...
Mr. We'll take a moment, and when we come back, we'll continue this conversation. The question I asked you was economic implication. You have left that part first. You're telling you started preaching. But we'll come back, talk about the economic implication of everything. Please don't go away. Welcome back. We're still talking about the Apapa Gridlock situation and the presidential order to have it cleared and sorted in the next 14 days or whatever. So, yes, I was saying the economic implication. Yes, you mentioned the GDP 5% and customs revenue. How much did you say the customs are losing?
Losing about 650 billion on annual basis. The income from port duties, if our port was working optimally, efficiently. Now, apart from that, what of the real estate within Apapa, both commercial and private real estate? You go there, about 60%. 70% of the real estate there are unoccupied, and the value it has lost value if you compare them with the Keja properties and the VI properties. They've lost value, about 60% loss in value. Now, what are we losing in terms of employment, both within the port community and the industry? Because you see a situation where the industry even have to, hold inventories that they ordinarily don't need to hold. That have a cost implication and even employment implication in the industry. Industry is losing about 2.3 trillion on the port inefficiency in Nigeria. Some other, in terms of demurrage, of course, companies are also meant to pay a lot of demurrage, because you see a situation where you are exporting an agricultural commodity, for instance, cashew nut. In 2017 alone, 50% of cashew nut that was made to move to Vietnam, and this cost almost $300 million was either spoiled or destroyed. 50%. It was downgraded from grade A to grade B or C, depending on how dry it was when it got to the destination. These are losses to this economy. What of loss to life? This bad road and congestion average about 1,000 truck accidents we record every year, and there are fatalities. And the imported items or export goods we want to export is also damaged along the way. The traffic itself also causes, can I say, stealing, pilferage. Even sealed containers in the night opened. You have sealed your container in the factory, exiting the country. 2 weeks along, you see a situation where people have burgled the containers. So and what of the reputation? It's a shame to this country. We are talking about ease of doing business. Ease of doing business, we are competing with other parts of the world. As the largest economy in Africa, as a superpower, it is a shame to this country when we are talking about we want to diversify from oil to something else. How can you diversify from oil to non-oil when the port through which these products will come in, or if it is raw material or go out, it's not. We made it impossible. And these are not God-made problem. They are man-made problem. And I'm happy with what our honorable here have been doing with his team and the executive order. We believe that they will put together a sustainable framework to really clear this mess. And when they clear this mess, the road will have opportunity to repair the roads.
And Mr. Wane, you didn't mention how it affects the price of goods in the market as well. Since we are importing, there's that aspect as well. Yes.
Mr. Wefa, let's look at. I know you said we're looking forward, but part of your terms of your terms of reference include ensuring that those who extort money from people are cleared from that access. How is it that they were able to go on for so long and nobody noticed what was going on? Or is it that nobody paid attention or was willing to bail the cat as regards that denied access?
I'm going to use the style a little bit so that we can understand how we got to this stage. The port was concessioned I think 2005 or 2006. And that brought in private sector terminal operators. And those terminal operators are expected to manage most of the issues that regards to port operations. The government of the state is expected to manage the traffic all around the state. The police is to provide security. And all of that, including traffic. The forest is there to provide. There are so many agencies involved. Now, gradually, the level of activity at the port increased. And like I said, the ease of doing business became complicated. Those are the things that normally result in extortion or inducement. So what you have currently, upon the assumption of this government, under the office of the Vice President, a Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council was inaugurated. And that council has done extensive work on port operations. That's why I said, let's look for that council under the Vice President with a senior special assistant in charge, Dr. Oduwole, have documented all these issues. And there have been several meetings at the level of presidency with the critical topmost stakeholders, at the level of the CG Customs, at the level of the manufacturing concerns, like Gote, Bois, flour mills, Inspector General of Police, mention it. So all these people that are the critical stakeholders that have come up with the way forward. So it is a stakeholder developed way forward. And in the last 1 month or so, there has been about 2 other meetings with the representative of the critical stakeholders. That is what led to if you read the executives at a meeting at the instance of the president, shared by the vice president, and they listed some of the people present at, I think that was the second to the last meeting before this. And the team also has met with the vice president. So the issue is not discussing what are the issues for us. It's to go there, restore law and order, and ensure there is free flow of traffic. So once there is free flow of traffic, there will be no need to induce. That's 1. 2, once there is law and order, anybody who induces or extorts will be apprehended and executed. So that's why you have 72 hours for the truckers to leave the road, so that the new tax team can then start the implementation of this new traffic management order.
Okay, Mr. Apapa, sorry to interrupt here, but let's look at some of the conditions that might pose a challenge to this task team. Besides the fact that as you said, there wasn't an effective call-up system for the truckers, the road condition there wasn't too good. I know there was work going on to rehabilitate that aspect of the road. I don't know how far they've gone. So the question of how good's the road, the amount of trucks that are coming in, are we going to be reviving that rail line that goes into the port? Those who were supposed to be handling the empty containers that are mostly the challenge, those who are supposed to be handling it, how effective are they going to be now if they were not effective before? So what's going to change?
With due respect, let me say, proud to now, there has been no empty container policy in place. And that's why the team went gaga. But there is now a policy.
What does the policy say?
You see, ordinarily the ship liner, the terminal operators, when you bring in a container, you take it to your place. You return it to your shipper, he takes it to the port, return it to the terminal operator, he takes it out of the country. There should be a process to manage that. Now what you now see is that when you bring your container back, because you want to take it into the port, and the port is, there must be a space within the port for you to drop it. After the concession, a lot of those spaces don't really exist as much. So the terminal operators are now having less spaces to put the empty container. Lily Pond is the terminal operators. So, they took this responsibility from MPA, and MPA is just to supervise them. So now the Lily Pond was created for that purpose initially. Then it was also concession to a terminal operator. And you know you have so many of them. So what MPA has done now, if they've taken over the lease of Lillipond, so Lillipond is now available. There is now a standard operating procedure in place for all